what the bottom line of empathy does lead to is connection and trust. So if you have connection and trust on your team, what happens? Honest conversations, people feeling heard, a willingness to be vulnerable. And when people are willing to be vulnerable, do you think they're going to tell you what they really think? Absolutely. So they'll talk about the mistakes that are happening early enough to correct them, right? And so perhaps through a lived experience, I know we would have seen some revenue, higher revenue. Or the marketing team will come to you and tell you, hey, that campaign is not working as we intended. Rather than softening those, the blows, it's we really need to get in and dive in and deep to this and fix something. Or the sales team being a little bit more honest with their projections so there aren't any big surprises. So I want to go over to, these are all connected. And let's go to that people feeling heard, feeling truly heard. That actually, I don't know if those of you are familiar with Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages. This is one of the love languages, feeling heard. It's actually the love language of quality time. Because what quality time is spending time with your undivided attention on another person. Listening is a part of that. So when you truly listen to another person, this does not mean you're hearing what they're saying, but you're already plotting how to respond or problem solving or brainstorming, right? Really just allowing them to talk and feel heard. That ties into one of the core needs of humans. And here's a quote that I absolutely love and I think is so powerful, and it goes like this. It says, being heard is so close to being loved that for the average person, they are almost indistinguishable. That's by David Alsberger. I'm going to repeat it again because I think it's so impactful. And it goes like this. Being heard is so close to being loved that for the average person, they're almost indistinguishable. Sorry about all the sirens. I live on a major thoroughfare in Washington, D.C., so they'll be over in just a moment. So now that we've gone through that, why is empathy so important? And what kind of an impact does it have on you and on your team? We've talked about how empathy leads to connection and trust. And we just talked about feeling heard is very close to feeling love. Well, connection and trust actually relate to love, acceptance, and belonging. And those are core human desires, right? Those are core human desires. We are social beings. We need to be in community. Without that, our basic needs aren't met. So actually, these core human desires, they're actually basic human needs for survival. We need connection and trust, and we need love and acceptance because it leads back to that connection and trust. And it's because, again, it's how we are hardwired to being communal or social beings. So, one of the things I kind of want to address is sometimes is this woo-woo? Is this a bleeding heart? And no, it's not. Because if you need to meet that huge deadline for that prospect that you've been trying to reach for 2 years, guess what? Being able to connect and have open and honest conversations with your team members, do you think that they're going to stay at work late or work till 10 p.m. the night before to help you get that proposal exactly as it needs to be? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. So what about when things go south?